Hello YouTube, I'm going to do a video today of my upgraded crossbow. I did say I'd do a video of this upgraded crossbow because before this video I did do a couple of videos of this crossbow, but it wasn't very good because I didn't have a bungee, I didn't have a handle, and there were a few upgrades that needed to be done. So now that I've done all the upgrades and it's basically finished now, a final video for it, and I'm going to do a shooting test. Okay, so I'll just start off with the basics. The main upgrade is the bungee. It's red, obviously, and it's perfect size actually. I drilled a hole through here and there, and then put the hook through, and when I pull it back onto the mechanism, push it down and it release. But the problem was is when it shot back, these hooks would keep coming out, so it was quite dangerous because they can flip back in your face, and it was quite annoying. So I got some pliers and squashed them as far as I could get them. You can't get them to touch because they just keep coming back. Obviously if you really tried you probably could, but they don't come out, so that's all I needed to do, just not come out. And so they don't come out, so I'm quite happy with that. Did the same on the other side, so yeah, that either. So they don't come out of the sockets. The next upgrade is the handle. Obviously it is a bit too long. I'll tell you why now. So basically I had my chisel, and so I had my chisel and my mallet, and I was cutting out a hole for this to fit in, and I got about halfway, and I got my sanding paper and my file and started just making it smooth inside so this could fit in really smooth, and I had quite a tight fit, and I got about halfway and I wanted to get nearly to the end almost. It wasn't coming through either side, but it was quite deep so it won't come out. And I got about halfway and I got my mallet and I smashed it in as hard as I could just to see if it'd fit right, and I smashed it in too hard and now I can't get it out. So it's stuck in there with pressure. It's not been glued, it's just been holding in there now with pressure. So yeah, so it's not been glued like I said, but I did put it in an angle so that this smooth bit here is on your hands, because these edges are smooth as well, but obviously this one is the most rounded of them all. So yeah, so I put it in at an angle so that this edge is the most rounded, so that it's quite smooth on your fingers. And if you had it like that angle, you'd have, if you had it like square, if you had this straight with the wood, then it'd be a bit awkward to handle it because your fingers would keep rubbing on these corners and eventually get sore. But yeah, I could cut it halfway. I could cut the wood like there, and then I just have the handle. But I had an idea that's quite useful, and the idea is that because it's quite long, you can use it as a tripod. So when I'm laying down on my bed doing some targets, it's like the perfect height for shooting. And if you go into the field with it, you can shoot arrows, and it's quite good and it's quite accurate. And yes, it's perfect. It's perfect height for a tripod. It's not very sturdy, but you can always hold it. But yeah, it obviously doesn't bump up and down, it only goes side to side. But yes, I'm going to leave it like that, I think. And if you can see, really, the handle is made out of oak, and obviously the base of this crossbow is made out of pine, so the oak is really smooth. And yeah, so the next upgrade is where the bow is. basically, I don't know if you can see this, but I've cut a little notch there, like a big groove into the side, just there. And I've done the same on the other side, just there. And like where I've marked it there with a marker pen, where I've marked it with a marker pen is just to show where it was rubbing on it. So when I'd pulled back the bungee, when I'd pulled back this, obviously this tube would bend and it'd be rubbing on the corner. So eventually it was wearing it out and it was cutting into the side of it. Just where I've marked it, that's where it was cutting into it. And eventually I thought it was going to snap or just break it. Fixed it with I did it with my coping saw, a file, some sanding paper, and I think that was it actually. Yeah, so now when I bend it back, this tube won't bend enough. It won't bend enough to touch these parts here, this edge. So yeah, and I've done it on the other side, like I said. But yeah, so that's another upgrade. This upgrade is the hot glue. Like I said, I'd do this in the other video, simply because sometimes when you hold it, when you're walking around with a gun, this can turn a bit. So when I've hot glued it, it can't basically. So I put it all around there, and I've done it on there as well. And it's actually quite neat. It's very neat. I thought I'd make it quite messy. I thought it'd be quite messy, but I've done it quite neat, so I'm quite proud of myself. So yeah, that's the other upgrade. The last upgrade is the trigger mechanism, and I'll show you here. Basically, trigger mechanism, the upgrade has been done with 2 nails. So basically, before these 2 nails were here, the rubber bands for the mechanism were there, and basically when I've been pushing down on this for the mechanism to jump back up, it was coming up now and again, but sometimes it'd get stuck like that and it wouldn't come up. So when I had to load it, I'd have to keep it up in the air with my 2 fingers and then load it with these 2 fingers, which would make it really complicated and hard, and your fingers would get worn out and sweaty and all that stuff, and it'd give you like grazes and stuff like that. So with these 2 nails in, because without them, only like 2 rubber bands are pushing it back up, so there's not a lot of, like there, as you can see, it's just got stuck. It's got stuck and there's not a lot of it coming over it, so when I pull the elastic back, it won't click onto there because it's not high enough to click on. So I put 2 nails there, so that now you pull all the rubber bands over both of them, like that. So now you can see they're all over it. And now, when I push down, jump straight back up, because all the 10 rubber bands are on it. So there's a lot of pressure. So now, as you can see, it's a lot higher. So when I pull the rubber band back, the bungee elastic thing, it can clip onto there very easily. And then you just push down, and it releases it. If you haven't watched my previous video of this crossbow, it shows you how the mechanism works and how I built it, and the whole thing, actually how I built the whole thing. So obviously I'm not building it at the time, but I'm not building it in the video, but I do show you how the mechanism works and how I've made it and just the basics about it. So yeah, so that's all the upgrades for this crossbow. I'm still thinking of a mechanism for the rail for the arrow to sit in so that it doesn't wobble, but for now it's not really bothering me because it shoots quite well without it. I will have to make one eventually if I'm in the woods, because when you're running with it, the arrow's going to fall out, because I have to sit down, put the arrow in, stay very still and then shoot it. But with a rail in, you don't really, and I have got a few ideas of how to keep the arrow still, but I need to buy an arrow because I've got enough wood that I can shoot for now. So yeah, I'm gonna do a quick shooting test of this little box here with a bit of wood behind it for safe reasons. I'm gonna be shooting this box here. Basically, it's a little box that I quickly made out of wood. I hot glued it because it sets quickly, and I got a cardboard and I pinned it to the box with nails. So that's really hard. No dents in that. So it's quite hard. Even I can't push it in. So it's gonna take a lot of power to smash it. But even though it's quite thin, it's very strong. I am going to be shooting this arrow. It's made out of wood. I think it's plywood. Yeah, plywood. It's not got a very sharp point, but you can't really sharpen plywood. So maybe other different plywood you can, but with this one, I just can't seem to get it any sharper. So I'm going to be shooting it at that target, and hopefully I will succeed, and it should smash through and just get stuck in it. So now I'm going to load it, and I do load it with my feet because it's a lot easier. Now all you do is the elastic back. Like that, and you can use the handle, but I can't now. I'm just going to put it between my feet so that it's sturdy. But now just going to put the arrow in, and I'm going to do it one-handed because I've got the other hand holding the camera, so this could go wrong and go right. Okay, 3, wait a minute, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was quite powerful. It did go into the cardboard, quite powerful. So obviously you can't go any further than that. You can't go any further than that because there's a thick bit of wood at the back, so it can't go through that obviously. But it's done quite good, didn't. So I mean, I can't push through with my finger. It's too hard, and I can't really jab it with any of my strength. So it just shows that it's quite heavy duty material. It is only cardboard, but it's good quality cardboard, so that's why it could only take the crossbow to smash through. So yeah, and as you can see, it's not very sharp, so it's just basically smashed through. If you want me to do any more videos of this crossbow, any questions about it, if you want me to do a tutorial of me shooting something, name the item of what you want me to shoot, and I'll be back in the next video. So for now, this is my upgraded crossbow, and goodbye.